Hi there, this is Graham Nichols from Affinity, Gospel Churches in Partnership, based in the UK. And we are looking at some news stories on Friday, 26th September 2025. The appointment of a new Archbishop of Canterbury is imminent. There may be even some news next week about it. And there was a survey in the Independent newspaper this week which reported the findings that many people, I think a large proportion, did not want the new Archbishop, to comment on political matters, particularly things to do with immigration and asylum. You can understand that and you can sympathize with it. And as Christians, I think we sort of agree and we sort of don't agree with that idea of the population thinking that the Archbishop shouldn't comment on politics. I think on the one hand, we know that the gospel affects the whole of our lives. So we want Christians and Christian leaders to be involved in talking about how the gospel and how the changed lives we have through Christ work their way through into how we act as citizens and how we act together as community, politics. But on the other hand, I think when you're a leader of a church, or more particularly a leader of a large organization of churches, then when you comment on detailed policy matters rather than just at the level of principle, you are in danger really of taking sides and causing disunity and getting involved, I think, beyond your role. So I have some sympathy with those who don't want the new Archbishop to comment, but also some sympathy with the thought that they should comment at the level of principle. Of course, the priority really for the new Archbishop of Canterbury should be to be proclaiming the gospel and to be encouraging their churches to be faithful to the gospel in all of its teaching, both about Jesus Christ and salvation, but also about how we should live. Another story this week was one about revitalising town centres. The Labour government has a plan to do something with shops or pubs or similar buildings that have been fallen vacant. And the idea is that I think either the local authority or perhaps some other community organisation will be able to buy those and perhaps prevent other organisations buying them in order to be some kind of community benefit. Not quite sure how it's going to work. They cited the example of vape shops and barber shops, or rather fake barber shops. I'm not sure how you can tell a fake barber as such, and both those activities are perfectly legal. So I'm not sure quite how you would stop those, but let's just assume that somehow works, that the community says this is the kind of property I want and the kind of activity I want in this property. Then I think the idea is that that will get priority. It sounds a good idea in principle in some ways. A lot of our high streets across the country are getting quite run down, aren't they? And online shopping and various other economic hardships mean that the high street doesn't always look such a community hub. So we want to welcome and encourage anything that encourages community, but particularly, as well as being good citizens and trying to create good local communities that build up to be part of the national community, we want as Christians for the church to be the ideal community that people want to join. We would love it if people want to be part of our community, even before they believe, that people would want the gospel to be true because they can see that it's making a difference in people's lives. Another slightly eccentric item really this week in the news was on TikTok mainly, but also reported elsewhere. Joshua Mhlakela from South Africa, pastor from South Africa, predicted the rapture on, I think, Monday or Tuesday this week. It didn't happen, and that always causes some degree of humiliation and embarrassment, I guess, for the church, because it's associated, strangely enough, with evangelical Christians. That's a headline I saw. Evangelical Christians predict the return of Jesus, or the rapture or something. Just leaving aside whether theologically you think there is such a thing as the rapture, it's not helpful, I don't think, and it's not even successful to predict a particular day for the rapture. I think by definition, whatever eschatology you have, we don't know when Jesus is coming back. There are sometimes signs that it may be imminent, but we don't know. So it's best to just make sure that we're ready rather than wasting time predicting when it's going to happen. Those are some new items. Just one other thing to mention. Affinity has posted a statement to do with the Unite the Kingdom marches, and you'll see that on our website and social media channels. Thanks very much for listening.